Hi, welcome to Modern Wall Street Trader Talk. Right now, as we speak, the GOP is taking another shot at voting on healthcare, and the markets are mixed ahead of that vote. Joining me to talk about it is Matt Cheslock from Virtu Financial. Hey, Matt, thanks for jumping on board.
Absolutely, Olivia. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing?
Good.
Well, the Trump administration is taking another shot at healthcare. And while that is a major event, one of the biggest ones this week was the Fed. Even though they left rates unchanged, we saw some major moves in the market. The dollar shot up. How are we supposed to trade around that guy?
Well, you know what's interesting is that the Fed funds futures rate went from 62 to about 94 for next month. So it looks like it's a foregone conclusion. They're thinking that the economic data that we've seen, it's been a little bit weaker, has been, they call transitory, which means it's probably a one-off event, or at least that's what they're hoping. So I think we're pretty certain we're going to get a rate hike the next cycle, and maybe one in September again too. So that ticked up as well. So that's how you're going to trade it. You're going to think it's going to happen, and they've been pretty adamant about doing it. So trade around it accordingly.
All right, now what about commodities? Gold knifed under its 50 and 200-day moving averages. Brent crude went under 50 for the first time in months.
Well, I think gold was definitely a technical move. It broke 1250, and when it did, all the stops went off, and it proceeded to go lower. Now it's going to test probably 1210, I would think. There's a lot of other issues with gold as far as rebalancing for indexes and things that you're seeing. That trade's coming on now. That's usually occurs in June. So there's a little bit going on there, and oil as well. I mean, oil, if OPEC doesn't agree to these cuts or to continuing these cuts, that's why you're seeing oil really sell off. There's some questions about their ability to maintain quota.
Okay, now let's talk about macro since we got some mixed results today, and this is after a not so beauteous first quarter. Matt, isn't it supposed to pick up in spring and summer anyway, though?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to, but there's so much uncertainty right now. We're counting on the consumer, and the consumer really is pretty hesitant right now. I mean, the auto sales yesterday were kind of scary, especially as far as the inventory that they have. They were really counting on the consumer. We're not seeing that translate, at least in the auto section. And as far as the other economic numbers, I think people are so focused on third and fourth quarter of this year, and because of the Fed's been so undecided, the first 100 days, we have not seen all that we were hoping for. So I think a lot of these events are probably going to be pushed off to the second half of this year.
All right, well, as far as the markets go in this spring and summer period, we are expecting some volatility. Sell in May and go away. Matt, do you agree with that statement? Are we not going to see you until fall?
Well, I looked at some of the historical patterns, and if you invest in just the months from October till April, I mean, it's significantly outstanding the amount of returns that you would have. So there is some credibility to that. I don't think you're certainly going to do that this year. I think there's too much out there. There's too much uncertainty, which makes for good trading and possibly good trading. So while we're worried about historically high valuations, there's still going to be some opportunities here on pullbacks to be buying stocks.
All right, so would you suggest exploring the options market then?
It's probably not a bad idea. You're going to get more bang for your buck. If you think there's a lot of volatility, the options market may be way to go. But you look at like the VIX trading at historic lows here, so there is some credence to that. There's some safety in equities. There's no fear right now. So options are to be a way to leverage your money and not have too much exposure to the equities at these valuations.
All right, Matt. Well, thank you so much. This weekend is Cinco de Mayo, so I hope you have a nice one. And it is the 4th, so may the 4th be with you.
Also the Derby, so let's keep an eye on the Kentucky Derby. That's always a fun day.
All right, awesome. Hats off or on. Thanks, Matt.